Welcome to the Life, Death and Happiness podcast. My name is Daniel, and in each episode we delve into the most personal and profound stories from people living with Fanconi Anemia. This time it's my pleasure to talk to Haylee Milroy, who has a very different story of living with FA. Hi, and welcome to this episode of Life, Death and Happiness. As usual, I have a special guest with me today, and today it's Haylee Milroy from Kentucky. Welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy you wanted to join me. So before we get into all the good stuff here, can you please tell us, everybody, a little about yourself?
Well, I am 21. As you said, I grew up in Kentucky, so very much a nature type of person. I have many animals. I love the animals. I work with plants all the time. It's like my favorite thing to do.
Yeah, that was the brief summary, just so we know who we're talking to. And of course, since it's Life, Death and Happiness podcast, it's about Fanconi Anemia, or living with Fanconi Anemia at least. So can you tell me a little about how this all started out for you when you were diagnosed?
I was diagnosed at 2, and my mom noticed that I was sick a lot, and I bruised super easy. And she can tell a lot more than I can because she's lived it more than I have. I was 2.
It's difficult to remember exactly at that age, but
Yeah, but I spent a lot of time in the hospital trying to figure out what was wrong with me, and yeah.
So you have known this all your life.
Yes, I have known this all my life.
Yeah, okay, definitely. So your mother have told you that you were sick as a child, and were you in and out of the hospital a lot?
Yes, I was up until I went to Cincinnati. So I was diagnosed at 2, and then I had my bone marrow transplant at 4.
Okay, that was all in life, yeah. Do you remember anything from that time?
Vaguely, I remember child life at Cincinnati. I remember the puppets, and I was so little, I don't remember much. However, I do remember the feeding tubes. I remember those.
Okay, you remember those, yeah.
Yes, I remember every time I would puke, mine would come out, and I would get so upset because, of course, they had to put it back in. That was awful.
Not the best experience in life.
No, it was not.
And not if that's how you remember being at a hospital for the first time. It's not really a pleasant memory, right?
No, it's not, but my mom did the best that she could to make sure that I was happy, and that I didn't really care to know what was going on. I was just there.
Yeah, also because of your age, of course.
Like, I didn't even know that I had lost my hair until my mom accidentally turned me to the bathroom mirror and I saw it.
Ah, okay. You remember that, actually?
Yes, I remember that because it broke my heart. My hair was my favorite.
I
had this beautiful long blonde hair. It was so pretty. And now it's short and thin and brown.
Yeah, I can imagine that wasn't nice. I think most Fanconi anemia patients I talk to who have been through transplant, they remember the hair loss. It's not like traumatic. Like I know it seems like a small problem, but when you're there, it feels like a huge thing.
Yeah, you're seeing yourself change before your eyes.
And
you can't do anything about it.
No, not at all. And it's just weird to be sitting with your hair like small chunks of hair in your hands. Like,
yeah, I remember I didn't want to go out. I only wore hats. People thought I was a boy, and I would get mad.
Yep, I could imagine that. I could imagine that. That's not what a kid wants to hear at all.
No.
No, 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 no. No matter what, you just want to be. At least that is how I felt. I just wanted to be normal.
Me too.
I didn't wanted to feel sick or be that weird child who was always at the hospital. So okay, so you got diagnosed and transplanted in a very early age. Was it where was the donor from? Do you know that?
Yes, she is from Germany.
Oh, she's from Germany. Okay.
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Yes. I've actually gotten to talk with her a little bit, and my mom threw me a 10-year re-birthday party,
Yeah.
and she had shirts made and sent one to Germany. And Sylvia, my donor,
Yeah.
made a video talking to me wearing my shirt, and it was awesome. It was so cool.
I'm so lucky that my donor was my older brother. But I really get it's not the first time I hear that this special bond, because that person actually gave you a second chance in life.
Yes.
So literally, you wouldn't be here without that person. So it's a very, very special connection that is hard to explain to outsiders.
Well, I always wonder, like, do we get anything from them? Like, are we like them in any way?
I'm not sure. I had a moment just a few weeks ago. I was at this adult retreatment in Charlotte in North Carolina, and I was sitting there speaking to some very, very smart people, some people from a science team, and I talked about my transplant, and when I came out of that, and after I lost my hair, when my hair started coming out again, it was red to begin with, and my sibling brother, he has red hair. And I was furious at my parents because I didn't want to have red hair. And it was only for a very short time I had it. And then it disappeared again and became my normal. And they were like, that is almost impossible. How could that happen? They were like, so I don't think it's normal you inherit something from them. And of course, I can't explain how that happened. Or if I had, I don't know. But they were very surprised and was like, huh? Are you sure about that? I was like, yeah, I'm sure because I was mad.
That's really cool, though.
Kinda.
Not that you're mad about it, but that it happened.
I'm very, very happy to be back to my old self, okay? Don't get me wrong.
I bet.
So, how did you, do you have any siblings?
I don't. It's just me.
It's just you, okay. So how did your family react to all of this? Do you remember that?
My mom went straight to researching as soon as she found out what I had, which I've heard is the biggest mistake.
Yep, kind of, but I think we all do it.
Go to Google first.
Yeah.
But that is what she did. I don't really remember what my dad did.
Was there any other family members involved at all?
My grandparents were very involved.
Okay, yeah.
And I know that they helped support my mom in dealing with everything. But like we mentioned before, I was only...
Yeah, of course. I do get why you don't remember that much. I mean, I hardly remember anything from that age.
Yeah.
Just a very, very few specific moments. But I think that's natural for many reasons. Of course, some of the more traumatic stuff you might remember because it was like a big thing in your life. But you know, those everyday things, most of us will just poof, forget. So after that, did you just go to a normal public school? How was your life after that?
I did home-based Head Start for a little while, and then I got to go to kindergarten when I was, I think, 5 or I can't remember how old I was. But anyway, I only got to go the last 30 days of kindergarten.
Okay.
But in the last 30 days of kindergarten, I met my best friend that I am still friends with today. Thank you.
That is kind of cool.
It is very cool. I love her very much.
So that was in only 13 days?
Yeah, I was only there for 30 days before the school year ended.
30 days. Okay, yeah. So then you started in public school.
Yeah. And then I was in public school until I graduated high school.
Did you talk to people about you having FA, or did you think it was done with, or how was that for you?
I talked about it if people ask. I remember when I was in kindergarten, I have this friend named Reagan, and she found out that I had it, and she didn't want to be my friend anymore because she thought it was contagious. And we still laugh about that today.
Oh my.
I mean, we were in kindergarten. She
Yeah,
didn't know,
yeah, okay, yeah. No,
so
no,
I
no,
had to
no.
explain it to her. But it was so funny, and we still laugh about it.
It's a good thing you're able to laugh off that, of course.
Oh, absolutely. You have to laugh about it.
Definitely. So did you feel that you were different from your peers?
A little, but not really. My parents tried to make me have the most normal life that I could.
So you didn't have any of those issues some people have with a low fatigue or anything?
Maybe in the beginning, but I do not really remember. I
Okay.
remember whenever I first came home, like the only thing I remember is being on all the medicine.
Yep, yeah, yep, definitely.
And the two I remember most are the liquid potassium and liquid magnesium. And I swear I can still taste them some days.
And is that a happy memory?
No.
No.
No. For anyone that remembers what those taste like, I'm sorry.
Yep. It's just terrible.
It's very terrible.
So you went to public school, and nope, most people didn't know about it unless they asked you.
Yeah.
Did you feel that even though your parents wanted you to have as normal a life you can get, did it affect you in any way? You still had to go to the hospital every now and then to get your checkups?
Yeah, I went yearly.
You went yearly, okay. Then you got all the different tests that we normally get, and then you just went back to school like not a care in the world.
Yeah, it's just like, which day are we going to the doctor this year? And we would make it like a trip. We go to Cincinnati, I do the doctor, we go to the zoo, or we go to the aquarium, or whatever, something fun. So
Something
I
fun.
still got to have fun.
Okay, how long is the trip from where you live to Cincinnati?
Just 3 hours.
Okay, it's like pretty close actually.
Yeah, it
Okay,
takes us no time to get there.
so that for you it wasn't like a big thing that you had to travel there. It was just something to be done, and then you had some fun with it.
Yes, I was very lucky.
Okay, through all this, did you ever meet anybody else with FA?
Yeah, I actually got to go to camp when I was little.
Okay, how old were you back then? Can you remember that?
I think I was about 3. It was before transplant and right after
Okay.
I got diagnosed, so probably about 3. And I remember meeting Emma, and I'm blanking on last names right now,
Yeah, it's okay. It's okay.
but she is my age. And Joe and JC.
Yeah.
I remember meeting Alicia, but that's all I really remember.
Okay, are you in contact with any of them still?
Joe and JC. And I
Yeah,
talk to Matt Pearl sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And Fabrizio. And I think I follow Carly on Facebook. But I don't really talk to many people. I wish I did.
No, but it's all right. It's different from people to people. Before, like 10 years ago, I didn't know anybody with FA at all. I never met anybody in my life. That was not up until 2014 when I started to have my first cancer. That is when I actually start to, try to figure out, is there anybody else out there? Or at least talk to them. I knew there was a few people from Denmark where I live that had FA because I didn't know them before 2014, but they contacted me. I don't know if you've been listening to some of the older episodes, but I thought I was cured, and then I went to a Facebook group for people who have had transplant, just out of nostalgia, because I pretty much grew up at the University Hospital in Copenhagen. So I knew a lot of kids who had not FA, but different kind of cancer and, other stuff. So I was kind of curious about this group, and then I wrote in that like an introduction thread, and I wrote, yeah, I used to have FA. And then I got contacted by a girl here from Denmark, was like, you do realize we might need to talk because you cannot be cured of FA. So I was on this roller coaster where, I still have FA and also have cancer. And then I got introduced to all these crazy ass FA people. A lot of the people, some of the people you mentioned here, I also consider very good friends. Love them to death, and I can honestly say that I don't like have FA. I hate it. But I do feel it has given me the chance to get to know some people I otherwise would never have met in my life. And I appreciate that so much because there's so many lovable people within our communities. So that was my introduction back then. So you know them since camp. Did you never go to camp again after that time? That one
No,
time?
I haven't been to camp or an adult meeting or anything since.
Okay, so you just talk to a few people from every now and then?
Yeah,
And
just
then,
through Facebook.
okay. So when you look at the Facebook group and you read about what is happening within the community, what is happening with people, how do you react to that? I mean, it's often, I feel it's different when you keep having issues, because then you are always involved in all of this crazy. But when you have like a few years, and for you it's much longer, where there's not really any big issues, then you start to get a little disconnected because you kind of just want to live a normal life, right?
Yeah. Um, for me, whenever I get on there,
Mm-hmm.
it kind of makes me worry sometimes because I've not really had that many big issues. Like, I would say I'm really lucky. Since transplant, I've only been admitted maybe twice, and it's been due to being a diabetic
Okay, yeah.
because I have secondary diabetes due to the steroids.
Mm.
But where I haven't had any big issues like that, it makes me worry because I know the older that you get, you start developing more things and you have a higher chance of things happening.
Oh, you definitely have, but then again, for some people, it it doesn't show up before really late in life. I mean, it's 10 years now for me. So I was 38 before I had my first issue at all. I mean, and I was 10. I was like in 85. Next year's 40 years ago since I had my transplant. I mean, so it's a lot of years. It's 30 years without any problems at all. So I totally get that part. I mean, it's very good to feel that, like, I always felt like, maybe my case is not so bad,
Yeah, maybe I'm different.
Yeah, maybe I'm different. And that's what we all hope for, of course.
Yeah,
But all your blood counts has been stable, nothing to worry about at all.
yeah, for the most part, the only thing is some hormone issues.
Okay, yeah. So that's the only thing you actually deal with normally regarding it.
Yeah, for the most
Okay.
part.
So,
Last time I went to Cincinnati, everything seemed normal.
mhm.
But before that, I had a bunch of my hormones that were not balanced. So they were worried about having to put me on hormones and stuff.
And you reacted normally to that.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
it's just something else.
Just another small thing. But I mean, if you don't have any big issues, that is a good thing.
Yes.
So, when you look upon all these things you have been through in your early childhood, and you know that you have FA, but you don't have any issues, you don't go to a lot of meetings, only this one camp. So, do you how can I say that? Do you feel connected to this world, or do you have that feeling of that is something that happens to somebody else?
Sometimes I feel like I'm in my own little bubble.
Mm.
Like when I was in school, it took me like when I was a senior in high school, everyone's figuring out what they want to do, figuring out college, and I'm over here like, wait, I just finally had the realization that I'm okay. I can
Mhm.
think about a future.
And you definitely can, and you should, yeah.
Yeah,
So you
but
haven't been hit by this. What can you say? I call it
a Mack truck.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, some people like they don't feel like going out and getting an education because it's really worth it.
Yeah.
Uh, because you never know what's going to happen. But then again, that goes for everybody in this world, of course. Um, so you have taken. Are you still under education?
Huh?
Are you still taking an education right now, or
No,
where you
I
at in
could
life?
never figure out what I wanted to do. I'm
Okay,
still kind of lost.
okay.
That's why I'm trying to get more involved in the FA community and stuff.
Hmm.
So maybe I'd get a little more of an idea of what I might want to do.
That makes sense. To stay, if you get in contact with other people and see what is the possibilities. But really, I mean, sky's the limit. You can pretty much do what you want.
Yeah.
I mean, we you have probably read about people who have been going through a lot of hard times all the time. But there's also us old dinosaurs that just keep going and without having too much trouble. So I mean, there is a future. I'm 48. I hate to admit it. Eagle is 50, one of the other Danes, and we have a few I know in the 50s, and I even know one who's in her 60s. Don't know her personally, but she's in the Facebook group, so at least I know she's out there, and I mean, so it is possible.
Well, that's
So
really good to hear.
that's kind of the idea. So when you went from your parents taking care of your health and monitoring that you had to go to your checkups and everything, and you became an adult yourself, how was that transaction? Was that painless, or how did it feel for you to suddenly be standing with all that responsibility yourself?
Um, I still have mom help me.
Okay.
Still goes with me to the doctor. It's
Did
just
you
our
also
thing
have to
now.
plan it?
It's like
Hmm?
girls' day. We go to the doctor.
So you still enjoy going to the zoo and just have some fun?
Absolutely. But now I'm 21, so we can do all fun things or whatever we want to do.
So now you can also go for the night drink.
Absolutely.
So living with FA, do you how do you think? Do you drink? Do you smoke? Do you avoid the sun? Do you do all the right thing that they want us to do or to avoid? Or
I,
how do you look upon all these things?
I don't think I've ever done any of the right things. I've
Okay.
tried, but you just don't have fun that way. And I want to have fun. I got a second chance and I want to make it count. Do the
Hmm.
things that I want to do.
So what do you want to do? What do you spend your no, a normal day doing?
I, I don't know.
You know.
What was the question again?
So
I got to
what do you
think about
spend your days doing? You're not under education right now, right?
it. No.
So are you mostly at home or do you work or where you at?
I work for my boyfriend's mom,
Mm-hmm.
doing whatever she needs me to do, and she is
Mm-hmm.
awesome. I love working for her, and hopefully soon I will be working for my dad. He owns his own garage,
Mm-hmm.
is a mechanic, so I will be doing garage stuff. And um, when I'm not working, I enjoy spending time with my family. My boyfriend has a little boy, so I get to hang out with him, and it's pretty awesome.
Yeah?
He's getting
Is
ready
that
to turn
mm-hmm. Is that something you ever considered that part about being a parent?
what?
Have you
Having
ever
my own,
did you want your own babies? How do you look upon all these things?
um,
Creating a family, and now you've got a boyfriend who already have a son. So I mean that's part of your life too, of course.
yes. Like for me to have a kid personally, like I've always envisioned myself being a mom. Like
Mm.
even when I was a little girl, like I wanted to be a mom. But when I was in 6th grade, I was almost in menopause, I do
Mm.
believe. So we took out one of my ovaries
Yeah.
and they cut it up into 10 slices. I donated 2 to research
Yeah.
and froze the other ones up in Minnesota.
Mm.
And if and when I decide I want to have babies, I have those as an option. But it's still, I don't really know what I want because I know it's a big risk for people with FA to get pregnant, and
Mm.
especially my size because I'm only 4'7".
Okay. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's also a big thing to think about.
Do it ever bother you that they're not so tall, like quote
Yes,
unquote normal people?
yes, I own so many pairs of high heels. It's not even funny.
That is a good workaround. That doesn't really work for me for some reason.
Well, I mean, I guess you could get some stilts.
Yeah, probably. So do you ever feel like you are treated differently by other people?
Not really.
No?
Not unless it's people that just find out.
Yeah?
And then they're like, "Oh my God, you've been through so much." I'm like, "Yeah, it's life. It happened."
Yeah, that's life.
Yeah. It kind of makes me feel a little awkward.
Yeah, it's like,
They don't get it. They just see you as like this little sick kid. Because I mean, I'm the size of a 12-year-old, so
mm,
people think I'm a kid all the time. Like, I go into restaurants, I get coloring books and crayons.
oh, isn't that great?
Yes, but then you order an alcoholic beverage and the look on their face is priceless.
So
You have to have,
I could imagine that. Them
yeah,
being a bit taken back by like, what is happening here?
it's so fun.
I mean, that's the thing we can do. We can make some fun of it. Because
Absolutely.
in some ways it is fun. Oh, I know. I think I forgot to ask you about that. Do you have any problems with your thumbs, like a lot of FAs have?
No, not really. I got
No,
really
see,
lucky with that too.
yeah.
Um,
So then have any
I,
visible things that people can see whether maybe would react and be like, oh, what? How come you look like that? So you don't have any of those
not
problems either.
like whenever you just look at me, you can't really tell other than
Okay.
I'm short. But
Yep.
if you get up close,
It's the same here. I also have normal hands.
yeah, unless you look at my thumbnails,
Okay.
then
Then
you can
there.
tell. And there's just a slight difference. My left hand thumb is made like a finger, but it looks like a normal thumb.
Hmm.
It's a little skinnier. And then my right hand is normal.
So you have been lucky from the get go.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. I like that. I mean, I think it's important to hear these stories too, because it's easy to. It's not easy, but often when we tell our stories, people kind of know what to expect because a lot of us have been through a lot of difficult times at an early age. I mean, but that does not go for everybody at all.
Yeah.
Then there's people like you who get the diagnosis early. You go through transplant at an early age, and then you are pretty much doing good and don't have any side effects, not anything major at all. So that is also like an important thing to hear because, especially I think for new parents or people who's newly diagnosed, they have to really take that part in about us being very different from one another. There's not two cases where we have FA the same way. So I mean, like your parents did, your mom did, she Googled it. She did some research herself. And I've mentioned it so many times in the podcast, but just don't do it, okay? Don't stay away from Google, okay? Google is not your friend when you are getting diagnosed with FA and you want to figure out what it is. And if you go to Google, don't, at least go to Fanconi.org or whatever local foundation you have that actually have real information about Fanconi anemia. Because have you looked up yourself on Google?
Yes, I have.
Yeah? How did that feel?
It's very scary.
Isn't it?
Like, for someone who is just getting diagnosed, if say I was someone who was just getting diagnosed and I got on there and read it, I would be like, what the crap? This is scary.
Exactly. I have some actually today I had a coworker who asked me about, but what is it? Your condition? It's like Fanconi anemia. She was like, can you spell it? I really would prefer not to because, of course, it's okay for the. I love when people are curious about it.
Yeah.
But I don't like the Googling part of it because then they feel pity for you.
Yes.
And I really, really can't stand the pity.
Me too.
That's
That's
like,
what I
yeah.
was getting at earlier when I was saying when people first find out. And they're like, oh, it's not all. It's just life.
Yeah, and I know they mean well, but I think it's kind of disrespectful at the same time. Because why would they change the view on you and suddenly see you as some kind of victim?
Yeah.
Just because you're living with a condition like this. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know how you feel about it, but
I don't let FA hold me back. I do whatever I want to do. I'll go play volleyball if I want to. I'll go ride four-wheelers. I've been known to do donuts in my bug in the field. It's just life.
Yeah, and you need to go out and have some fun and just at least accept it as part of your life because
Yes.
you can yell at the skies, but nothing will change.
Like
It's just something you have to live with.
Absolutely. But I have always wondered who I would be if I didn't have FA. And I have no idea. I feel like it's a part of me and it's made me who I am.
So would you, if you could go back in time, would you change having FA?
No.
No?
I don't think so.
No. I get it, because I got the same question when I was in Charlotte. I was sitting and talking to some of these, some people from the scientific team, and they asked that question. And some of a mother to an FA patient was very surprised when I say I didn't want to change my diagnosis because I wouldn't be the same person without it, because it is through all those experiences. Even though I could, some of the stuff I wish I didn't happen to me, but it did, and it formed me into who I am today. So for that very reason, and I'm happy about who I am today. So I think, yeah, that's part of my story, and that's all right.
Absolutely.
But there was some other that was a bit taken aback. I was like, do you mean that? I mean, with everything FA have done to you, you would still choose to have it again? Yeah. If it gave me this life, yeah, definitely, yeah. So I get where you're coming from. You wouldn't be you without it.
Exactly.
Then you would be some kind of weirdo who was not fun at all and never had.
Then I'd just be normal.
Yeah. Who want to be normal?
Nobody.
Okay. Sometimes it could be all right
Maybe
to
just
be
a little.
a little more normal.
Taller.
Now I'll ask you this question about death because that is part of the topic we talk about in here. Do you ever think about it?
All the time.
All the time. Okay.
It's always in the back of my brain. But
So what are your thoughts regarding it?
I mostly think about other people. I don't really think about me. Like, I've came to the conclusion, or I don't think that's the right word. Anyway, I'm fine with
So
it.
you have accepted it. Okay. So
Yeah,
you have come to terms with it. That's just part of it.
I'm
So-
fine with it.
Okay, so you're not afraid of it at all, or have you
No,
just accepted it?
I'm just afraid of what might cause it. Like, am I
Yeah.
gonna get this and this is what's gonna happen and that's why? But the dying part of it, no. I mean, it's part of life.
It is part of
If it's
life, even
if it's
though
my
we
time,
might
then
go out earlier. Yeah.
yeah.
You do you know? Have you talked to your parents about the possibility that you might not become very old?
Um, we don't really talk about it much, no.
No.
We just
No.
all kind of live
Yeah.
and just try to
So.
live every day to the best.
Mm. So do you miss having those kind of talks, or is it something that you're very aware of and feel like, oh, it's good to just not talk about it, so you don't have to like.
I can talk about it if I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Like, my family is very open, and we will have family therapy sessions if needed. But then we all get emotional, and we don't like that.
Okay. You don't like that. They don't like it.
Both.
Both. Okay.
I don't like being emotional about it.
I'm just curious because I was at a session at the last adult retreat and we talked about it, and I was among those people who tend to tell my family most about how I feel about having FA, but there's something I just keep to myself because I don't want them to worry. And speaking of that part, that also go for the thought I have about death, because I know it will be coming up. I will probably die to FA, probably not in a pleasant way. So I tend to not talk to my family about it because, especially my dad, if I bring that topic up, I can see in his eyes that he feel uncomfortable
Mm-hmm.
and he hate the thought and it pains him to think about. Do you have anything regarding that, or are you as open as you said that you just speak freely about it if it comes up?
If it comes up, we'll talk about it, but
Hmm.
we choose not to think about it.
Yeah.
I don't like to think about it unless I have to, but
Okay.
it is in the back of my mind all the time, and I get reminded often.
So when you get these reminders, what do you think about it?
I just worry that I'm not gonna be able to do all the things that I want to do and
Hmm.
accomplish all the things that I want to and see my boyfriend's little boy grow up or watch my parents get old.
So have you set some goals for yourself, or how do you manage those feelings you have regarding that death?
Uh, I don't really know.
Is
This
that
is
it?
honestly the first time I've ever talked about it this much.
Okay. Yeah.
Uh,
I'm just tell me if I ask too many questions. I was just curious because I set small goals for myself. Like if I just can see my kids turn 3 now, they've become the youngest twins just turned 3, and now it's like if I just can be there when they turn 5, then I'm more than happy. I set these small goals because I need something to look forward to. Because otherwise, I do think that the thought of dying early would drive me crazy. So I need to focus on something positive.
mhm.
And that is for me, I want to experience that with my kid. I want to go there with my wife. I want to do these, that things in my, in my everyday.
Oh yeah, I do have a bucket list of all the places I want to go,
Yeah. Okay.
things I want to experience.
So if we talk about some more pleasant things, happiness, what kind of cool stuff do you have on your bucket list?
Let's see. I want to travel Route 66.
Yeah.
I think that would be really cool. I love art museums, so I want to go
Mm-hmm.
see all the art museums. Um, I also love tattoos, so I have many planned.
Yeah.
I'm a little covered.
Oh yeah, you already have a few.
I got my first one when I was 16, I think.
Mm-hmm.
The earliest I could be.
Okay. That is the legal age for tattoos where you live in Kentucky?
Yes, I think so. With
Okay.
parents' consent.
Hmm. That's kind of funny because here it's 18, but we can drink already when we are 15, I think. We can actually drink
You
as
can't.
early in life as we want to. We just can't buy alcohol in a shop before we turn 16. But we cannot get a tattoo before we become 18.
It's weird. Here it's you can get tattoos and piercings with parents' consent at 16.
Hmm.
When you turn 18, you don't have to, and then you can buy alcohol at 21.
But maybe it's a good thing if you get tattoos that you don't base that on being drunk.
Absolutely.
I see some positive things about that.
Yes, absolutely. But my very first tattoo, I knew what I wanted, which was the FA ribbon. And it has my bone marrow transplant date in the middle of the heart so that I'll always remember. And when I'm having bad days, I can look at it and be like, you've done this. You're still here. You got this.
And that's a fact. You survived something that is incredible hard to go through.
Yes.
Your body was supposed to give up, but science made sure that you got a second chance in life. I mean, that is worth celebrating.
Absolutely.
So, beside the bucket list, what do you enjoy in life? What do you like doing? What keeps you going?
Well, here recently, I've been getting more into video games, which is something I've always hated.
Yeah?
I've always said I'd never play video games. And then I get this boyfriend who is probably the best thing ever. And
Mm-hmm.
he's got me playing video games. So now we spend a lot of time doing that. And like I said, he has a son. So I spend time with him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 cats. They keep me very busy.
Mm-hmm.
And I have about, I don't know, it's really hard to estimate the number of plants I have, but maybe 70,
Whoa, hold your horses. How many?
probably about 75 or more.
Different kinds? Or is
Yep.
there just one kind of plant you really, really love and have them all over the place?
It's all different. It's succulents and cactuses and just the regular house plants.
I think I could kill off a cactus plant within 2 weeks. I'm not good with plants, okay?
I'm very thankful that I am because they are my favorite. It's like a jungle. I have a whole room dedicated to plants, and that's my getaway. I go in there, it's just like a little jungle. It's awesome.
Yeah, with 75 plants, I guess. I don't think I've ever met anybody with that many plants. Different kinds?
Yeah,
Oh,
once.
do the cats eat them?
Sometimes. Sometimes they do. Sometimes they knock them over and there's dirt all over the floor. Sometimes they bite them.
I never had a cat, but I watched the cartoons where the cat is always eating the plants. Is that a real thing?
Yes, it is.
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
I have to put cayenne pepper on my leaves so they don't eat them.
Oh, you do that?
Yes.
Oh, have you ever seen your cat try to catch a leaf after that?
Yes, I have. And I have to go in there and yell at them. And they just stare at me. You gotta love cats. They're very entertaining some days.
Now, I gotta be curious here because I'm a huge nerd. So what games are you playing?
Baldur's Gate 3.
You do? Now we're talking. I just finished it 1.5 months ago.
I love it. Karlach is my absolute favorite.
Yep. One of my favorites too.
I don't know if you know anything about analytical psychology, but that's something I'm very interested in.
Yeah.
each person has a personality type.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an ENFJ, stands for extroverted, intuitive, feeling, and judging.
Yeah.
Carlac is also an ENFJ.
Ah.
So I like to think of her infernal heart as my FA.
Oh, that's.
Yeah.
I like how you think.
Yeah.
I see what you're getting at here, yeah. Because something internally you can't remove, and it will definitely change your life, and it will also shorten it unless you find some kind of cure or something.
Yeah.
Something you could do about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I get it.
I love it. I'm
I've
playing
only
this.
been playing for 130 hours. I never thought about that.
Now you're going to have to play it again.
Now I have to go back.
Yes. It's okay. You'll get a different story each time.
Yeah, that was the reason I need to dive right back in.
Absolutely.
What a shame I need to play that again.
Yes. But this is the first video game I've ever enjoyed.
But it's more than just a game. It's very, very special. For people who don't know about it, it's a huge RPG, but not like those, I hate that, not like those action RPGs that you see a lot of these days. It's more based on the old Dungeons and Dragons systems. So it's more strategic, but the storytelling is just so good. And everything you do in that game matters. I love that part. So good. So good. Now some listener will be, now he's talking about games again. Come on, Daniel. I can't help it. When people say they play games, I need to know. Okay? It's a weakness I have.
Well, I don't know any other person that plays Baldur's Gate but me and my boyfriend and his brother. So I don't get to talk about it much with anyone else. So it's very exciting for me.
I've actually found out, making the podcast and also talking to people privately, that a lot of us FA do play video games. It's just not something that is often talked about. And since it's a passion of mine, I want to make sure that other people with FA knows that we do play games, okay? Just saying. But no, it's a good way to think about something else and just have some fun.
Absolutely. Especially with playing Baldur's Gate. You get lost in it for hours with the story.
Mm-hmm.
And trying to save people and fight people and all the fun stuff, you know.
Besides that really, really, really good habits of your playing Baldur's Gate 3, and trying to get your cats not to kill off all your plants, is there other things you like doing in life and you enjoy doing?
I'm a big book nerd.
Yeah?
So I love spending all my time at Barnes & Noble if I can help it.
Mm-hmm. Any specific kind of books you love?
Probably the rom-coms. I love a good love story. They're my favorite.
Okay, yeah. So that is some of your go-to things when you is a bit down or you just want to think about something other than the everyday life.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
And I spend a lot of time at my mom's house. I'm here at least twice a week.
Okay, yeah. So you have a very good relationship.
Yes, my mom is probably my best friend. She is. Let's just be honest, she is.
There's nothing wrong about that at all. I mean, we all need some people in our lives that where we get that comfy feeling of belonging, of just being home. And I mean, it's your mom.
Yes, it's my mom, and she's been there through it all.
Yeah, and when you have a good relationship with your parents, it's just something special.
Mm-hmm.
I definitely get that part. I'm sharing, me and my wife and the kids are sharing a house with my dad. That is very uncommon here, and people are like, what? Really? At least where we live, but we actually enjoy it because I see him also as maybe not my best friend, but I see my dad as a close friend too, because we have a lot of good conversation about all kind of stuff. And my wife, she hates talking about politics or the news, and but I like to stay informed And then I could go to my dad with that and be like, did you just hear what was happening in the news? And you'll be like, yeah, I'm way ahead of you. I already read 5 articles about it. It's like, ooh, let's get into this. And my
Yeah.
wife, she's just like, you two do realize how boring that shit is, eh? Like, well, okay.
It might be boring to you.
But no, it's a good thing to have a close relationship with your parents if it's possible.
Yes.
Hmm.
I actually have 4 parents because my mom and dad are divorced.
Yeah.
So I have a stepmom and a stepdad, and I have a really good relationship with all 4 of them.
Oh, that's nice.
It is awesome. I love them.
Hmm. So they have been. Have you ever felt like you were split up among your parents because they were divorced, or have it worked well? Also, when I think about you as an FA patient, have they been able to work together
Yeah,
regarding all
they've
these things?
always been able to work together really well. They actually got divorced while I was going through transplant. So
Okay, yeah.
it happened while I was really young, so I didn't have to, it wasn't as hard on me as if they would have gotten divorced when I was like 10 or something.
Yeah, when you were where you would be more aware of it.
Yeah.
I get that, but that is also something other parents could learn from because it is difficult having a child with FA, no doubt about it. I mean, even if you don't have a kid with FA, sometimes life and relationships are just very difficult to be a part of. But I love when people bring a kid into the world that they are responsible enough to keep a good tone and be able to work together.
Mm-hmm.
That, I think, is a very, very positive story. More people need to be like your parents, okay?
I agree. I've got some pretty good ones.
It seems like it. It definitely seems like it. So, you as an FA person, just a human being, do you have any hopes or fears for the near future at all? Or do you just take it day to day?
It kind of depends on the day. I feel like it's bad sometimes because I'm always excited for the future, but I'm always kind of like, what if? So I
But,
try to plan, but I don't try to plan too much,
okay, why?
just in case it doesn't happen, or if something happens and I can't do it.
Is it bigger projects you don't want to get involved in?
Yeah,
Okay, so you don't want to start something you might not be able to finish. Is that
yeah,
what I'm hearing? Okay, that kind of makes sense. Yeah, and I think that goes for a lot of us with FA. Yeah, I'm just so stupid. I just throw myself at big projects all the time and hope I will survive through it. And I always do for some reason. But yeah, for a lot of us, it's always in the back of our mind. When is the next time something will happen? Or when will I get some of the same experience that my peers have all the time? So you've been very lucky. I can hear that. Compared to many other people, you still had been through transplant. I don't want to consider that being lucky at all, or even having FA. I mean, it's 1 in a million. I'm not lucky like that. But what would you tell newly diagnosed patients or parents who suddenly sit there with a child in their hands that is diagnosed with FA? What would you tell them based on your life and your knowledge and your experience?
do not Google. It's the worst thing you can do. Pray. Things will get better. Not everyone's case is the same, but I got really lucky. And it is possible. I've graduated high school. I'm in pretty good health. I drive. I do all the normal things. I go to the grocery store. I'm living a pretty normal life, and it's possible.
It is. It is. It is. So I don't know if you want to here at the end have something you want to share with your. It could be your parents. It could be other FA patients. Is there anything you would like to? Any topics you would like to touch on, or something you would like to say to some of them?
We need to be getting together more. Us FA people, I don't feel like we're getting together enough. Like, I don't talk to hardly anyone with FA, and I feel like we need to stay connected some way, somehow. Whether that's with someone starting a Zoom that we all could do, or us just trying to stay connected, making sure we're all still here. That would be really nice.
That would be really nice. I agree 100%, definitely. I know it's like such a corny term, but all we got is us. I think that really applies to us because nobody else will ever be able to understand what we're going through. Even though when we're not actually having cancers or going through transplant, is always a part of us. And the thought about what is going to happen next will always sit somewhere in the back of our mind. But with that said, I'm very, very happy you wanted to join me and tell your story, because that is what life, death, and happiness living with Fanconi Anemia is about. It is about telling the different stories because none of us is alike at all. And I think it's so important that we see all the different sides there is to FA, because it's not a straight road no matter what. So just remember, your case is different than anybody else's. And that's a good thing. Because you just need to be you. And you gotta believe that there's something to live for and something to fight for. Because a lot of us is living a good life. Some is not living a long life, but they still live a good life. So there's always something to look forward to.